Good afternoon. This is Pam with Follow Your Brush, and I had a follower ask me about A Gallo and if I had the green collection and the red collection, and my answer is yes. Not only do I have the green collection and the red collection, I have the blue collection. I have the Naturale collection. I have signature collection. I have little tiny palettes too. This is the Vendimia palette for fall colors, warmer colors. I have the little primary palettes with the cools and warms. I even have their, whoops, I'm so sorry, making a mess here. That's the yellow collection. What I wanted to show you was this. I have their wooden, handmade wooden palette that has a place for 36 and 9 colors, and you can put in what you want. And this is the colors that I chose. Magnetic top, beautiful wood, and then it comes with 3 travel brushes, and it comes in this beautiful little bag. All their packaging is gorgeous. It's embossed with their gold foil logo, which is just so beautiful. This is the yellow collection. And I had done a video on the yellow collection and then got a request from Canadian, I think it's 4946, asking me if I would do a review, if I had, and if I would do a review on the green and the red. And so I'm going to do that. And not only do I have that, but I also have the blues as well. As you can see, A Gallo and I have been friends for a while. Someone asked about the process of A Gallo the other day, and so I brought it up on my phone so you can see they are handmade. They use raw pigments, gum arabic, local honey, rosemary essential oil. They're all molded by hand on a glass slab. There's the honey. Here's the process of the molding the paints. They are hand poured into the individual pans over a period of days. And actually they're refilled several times over the course of 5 and 6 weeks. They're hand labeled. The labels for the paints that go around the paint pans is hand painted with the same color. Excuse me. They're all checked by hand, and once they're cured to perfection, the team removes any drips, makes sure that each pan is free of blemishes and brimming to the top. The labels are printed on Fabriano watercolor paper and painted by hand. And then each pan gets handwritten code with the name and the pigment number. And then they're ready to go. They used to sell them one weekend a month, the last weekend of every month. They have a Black Friday sale going right now. Then they would sell out, restock, repour. And so I didn't buy all of these collections at one time by any means. This is has taken me a couple years to collect, and I buy them a little bit at a time, but I really do enjoy them. So the question was the green palette and the red palette. Let me move my blue palette aside here for a second, and then we will do that in a second here. But the green palette, let's look at this first. It comes with a set of 12 paints. Now you might think, why in the world would you need 12 shades of green? Well, if you've painted for a while and mix your own colors, you do know that sometimes greens are a little difficult to mix on your own. It is possible, of course, with the yellows and the blues, and you can get warmer and cooler and etc. But it's nice. I really enjoy having just this green palette. Now, it does have 12 different hues or pigment mixtures of green. Some are granulating, some are a little bit opaque, but you can see here in my swatch, these are the green ones. We have, this is fig green, this is phthalo green light, spring green, viridian hue, it's kind of a turquoise or teal almost. This is deep sea green. Had to look at it more closely to see what it was. This looks pretty for doing oceans and water or waterfalls. This is forest green. See the granulation in this one? That's green gold. Sap green. There's granulation in this too that you can see. You see the texture in that? This is called I can't read the whole thing. I've got it covered up with paint. Chromium oxide green. But there is granulation in that. This is Verdazio, which probably my Italian is probably bad. I also like this. It granulates. Olive green deep and deep forest green. Dark forest green, I'm sorry. Dark forest. Beautiful colors, and like I say, they do granulate. I have a painting I could not get my hands on to find it anywhere. I have stacks of painting. But I did do a scene of trees, a forest scene, doing with nothing but this green palette. They blend beautifully. They mix beautifully on the paper, and I really enjoy that green palette. And we'll play with them again here in just a second and show you. Then this is the red collection, and once again, there's a set of 12. I don't use this one quite as frequently. I do like the Quin Magenta and the pink and the Potter's Pink, but I'm not into red. But here are the colors on these. This is also a set of 12. And so with the different pigment, you've got your red at the base. I do have the pigment numbers written on this one. But this is Venetian red, scarlet red, permanent red. I'm sorry, permanent. Let me just lift this up here so I can read and point the colors out to you at the same time. Permanent carmine, alizarin crimson hue, ruby red, Potter's Pink, which is one of my favorite granulating pink colors, ultramarine pink. I got some water on this so you can see that it does granulate too. Quin Magenta, my all-time favorite in anybody's collection. Quin Violet, ultramarine violet, dioxazine violet, and this is called Naturale, which is a great color for shadows, etc. in any landscape. So there's the basic swatches. Let's do a swatch of the blues and talk about those for a second. Here's my blue collection. This is also really nice. One thing about A Gallo, when you get it, you are going to want to spritz your paints before you begin, because they like to sit in the water and get nice and saturated before you paint with them. So I do suggest that you don't. They do wet nicely if they're dry, but they do even better if you've let them sit a minute with the water. So let's do these. A Gallo also will send swatch cards with their your order sometimes. They just throw these in. This is a zirconian blue. And this does have some granulation as well. You can see that. Let's bring it out a little bit with a little more water. And you can see how the granulation is in there. This one is transparent cerulean. Really pretty. Let's bring it out with some water. See how it does lighter. Beautiful for skies or even deep seas if you're doing an ocean or beach scene. This is lapis lazuli. Lapis lazuli at one time, or lazuli, well, I say lazuli. I think other people say it differently. Lapis lazuli. I don't know. I've heard it a couple ways. So forgive me if I'm not saying it correctly. At one time, this was the only color. This is one of the most ancient colors available to artists hundreds of years ago. And now, so it's nice to have that in any palette that you have. This is an ultramarine. And we know, if you're familiar with painting, you know that ultramarine is also very granulating in just about any collection. So there you go with that. That's the first four. Then we have, this is called Midnight Blue. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous color. Let's put a little bit more here in the more pigmented section. I love this color. So you can see how with these collections, you're not having to always mix your own colors. Sometimes they're called convenience colors. Here's another interesting color. This is actually, I say yin blue, but it is, this is the blue that was recently discovered by some college students. The first blue discovered in over 200 years by some college students in Oregon, University of Oregon. They were working on something else and had these sitting overnight. And in the morning, they discovered that they had created a new blue. And it's the first new blue color to be created in over 200 years. So that is, it's Yin Min Blue is the way I pronounce it. Yin Min Blue. It's YLNMN blue. So that was kind of fun to get to. This one, I'm sorry, my throat is froggy. I've got it kind of covered up. I'm not sure. This is a opaque. Let me see how that's opaque color. Let's get some water to it. Thin it out a little bit. It says, looks like it says clear blue. Here is a copper blue, and this also is, has some opacity to it. Very pretty though. Isn't that a pretty blue? Maybe semi-opaque. It's not totally covering up that line. So the nice thing about having a collection of blues or greens or reds all in one palette is it gives you some flexibility when you're painting. Here's an aquamarine. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. Makes me think of Florida and going to the Keys. I grew up in the Gulf Coast down there, St. Pete area, and that's the color of the water there, is that turquoise. Aquamarine, and the next one, this is also a nice color. This is called Harbor Blue. It's kind of a greenish, darker blue. I have used this one in paintings to do the water, like around the dock where there's shadows in the water under the docks. This Indanthrone Blue, another one of my favorites. Oh, I love this color. I'm just a sucker for colors, so if anybody's having colors on sale in any type of collection, I'm on it. I have more paints than I want to admit. This is their Payne's Gray in it with the blue shade. And I like Payne's Gray as well. So there's the blue swatched out in their blue palette. So here's the blue palette. We have the reds. It goes everywhere from vermilion to the dark shade Nocturno, which is almost kind of a deep gray blue. Magentas, pinks in between. And then the green palette here, which I absolutely love this palette. You can tell from some of the holes in the pans that I've used this one a lot. From all the way from the fig green to the dark green, forest greens, olive, a lot of texture and granulation, and just a beautiful collection. Just very quickly, I want to show you one more thing that I got, and I was actually confused about when I got it. And that is this collection. This is the yellow collection. We're not going to talk about that right now. I have another video I did on that. Whoops, sorry about that. This is called Naturale 3. And when I first got this, I need to spritz these because they haven't been spritzed yet. Having been used to the other A Gallo palettes, when I got this one, I was kind of disappointed actually, because I was like, what in the world? And I thought, if this was the first palette that I had ever bought, I would be so disappointed I might not order again. So I actually wrote to A Gallo, and I'll tell you why I asked that. Because this particular color, you see how the water is in there, but there's not a lot of pigment. This takes a long time to re-wet. You really have to let it sit to get it to re-wet. This is called Still de Grain. It's a beautiful yellow color, but as you can see, it just takes a while to pick up that pigment and re-wet. So I wrote to A Gallo and said, is there something wrong with this palette? These colors just don't seem to want to re-wet like a normal A Gallo palette would re-wet. And if this was my first purchase, which it's not, fortunately, I don't know that I would buy again. So I actually got an answer back from Alina Gallo herself, and to explain this palette to me. And she said they really thought long and hard about putting this palette together. It's an all granulating palette, and this first one that I was questioning is one of the most difficult pigments to get, to find, to prepare, to heat it to the right temperature, to get it to even be used, and one of the most expensive paints available anywhere, particularly in this particular palette. And she said that she would be happy to give me my money back and send me something else if I wanted to. But I was like, no. I definitely want to keep this. But I just didn't understand the palette when I got it. But after her explanation, and you can see that they are granulating. And so they do have a different texture than these other paints that I just swatched for you. This one is called Van Dyke Brown. This one was Icelandic Red Earth. This was English Red. So you can see, what I'm talking about. This one is called Victoria Green. But you see how they're lighter, and it takes a while for them to really pick up the pigment to get them to move. So they really have to sit a bit. And then, like I say, they're very granulated. This is Malachite Hue. But if you like granulation and texture in your paints, this is a wonderful palette. Just don't be surprised if it doesn't re-wet and act like the other ones that you have. This is Azure Hue. So that's why I wanted to talk about this real quickly, because they are having a Black Friday sale. And if you were to buy this and have never purchased any before, you might wonder what in the world and not like it. But I told Alina Gallo, I thanked her for responding to my letter personally, and that I appreciated the extra information, and that someday I hope to be able to go to Assisi, Italy, and go to her shop and just give her a big hug around the neck. And she answered back and thanked me, and she hopes I can do that too. And this is Tourmaline. So they're wonderful paints. And I just wanted to share that one about this one. Now that this has settled a little bit, let's do this one again, because it has been sitting. And let me show you this color again. See, now it's coming out with a little more personality. So it just has to give it time to sit and simmer like you would your tea. Let them sit and simmer and not expect them to perform immediately. Just give them a little time. It's like me, I have to have my coffee in the morning before I can get going. See how different they are after they've been sitting a while? Definitely makes a difference, particularly with this set. So that's why I wanted to let you know about this particular set, because if you buy it, you might be disappointed, as was I. But I appreciate getting the information directly from Alina and about the pigments, and it gave me a new appreciation for that color, especially once I found out that's one of the most expensive pigments that actually can be made. It's possible to be made. And they are beautiful colors, and I would not hesitate to recommend A Gallo to anyone, anytime, any place. And I have lots of them. I have big, little, small. I quit buying them because I think I pretty much have every color that they have. I've just purchased them. Here's the blue one. I've just purchased them at different times over the last couple years. So I stopped buying them, not because I didn't like them, but because I pretty much have every color. I'd just be buying a different collection that has the same colors that I've already purchased. But I love them. I use them, especially like the green, for the inquiry from Tropic Canada, 4946. Thank you for asking. And I'm thank you for letting me share some particular A Gallo collections. The green, the red, the yellow, and the blue. This is not the yellow palette, I'm sorry. The blue, and this is the granulated palette, which is called Naturale 3 Granulating. They're all granulating colors. There you go. Thanks for watching. If you're still with me, like and subscribe. I probably talked too long, but I wanted to get this information and I thought it was important. Thank you for asking at Tropic Canadian 4946. Hope this helped. And if you have any more questions about A Gallo or any of their other colors or signature colors or sets, let me know, because I probably have them and I'll be happy to show them to you. Take advantage of their Black Friday sale. It's on right now. Thank you. Bye.